Some say third time's the charm. Don't want to say anything. I really don't. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, nipples crossed. Don't ask me how. They're very long. I'm waiting. I'm not getting excited until we see them actually move away from this spawn. Okay. Yep. Looks like the jinx may be done. I'm praying. I didn't say my catchphrase anymore, and we are actually going to see the round begin. Wonderful stuff. JR. Not sure where his money's been invested. I think he's actually used it into nades. Mir going to go outside and start things off with the first kill of the round. Flaric still left on the site, and Kenzo going to be doing damage across the board as Chopper finds two back in return, leaving it all on Crush. Looking to try and find one of these players. The bomb planted on the other side, so it's going to be very difficult for him to retake from this position. Chopper. Spot and look at this flank. Mir. Oh, he actually gets spotted out, so he knows there's only two players actually on the site. He can somehow isolate Mir, but he keeps just bouncing around on the ladder, making things very difficult for Crush to do anything. The bomb ticking away as well. Doesn't have a kit either, so not going to happen. Chopper will get the quad in this pistol round. And, yeah. Done. Finish. Round one. T-side as well, going the way of Vega.
Yeah, and as they say, it's the final countdown here. Wow. As we... The winner of this, well, they will be making it through to the PGL Major Qualifier. This is why they've come and this far. It's all to play for. It's 1-1 in this series, so this is the deciding map. And already Vega, they picked up the pistol over on the T side. It's going to be buy down in towards this one for Brusto as they buy on up. Force buying down what they can, as you would expect. Smokes to rain down outside, and that's going to allow Vega just to sneak on by in through Secret. They still have a couple of players waiting behind. Chopper going to be one of these guys. Joining him is Mir. Smike's down in B. Going to be the only player here. Actually is Def to back him up. Smoke's gone down early on. They are going to try and head down into B. At least that's what it looks like. Smoke's going to start to dissipate now as they take these initial peaks on out. Clearing the angles one by one. Trying to push on in. Def able to find the first. Smike they're going to find one back in return, and suddenly... two-man advice taken here for Prosto as they drop out two players from Vega. It's going to be rifle actually and a UMP dropped, I'm fairly certain. Trying to make their way out towards A in return. JR does find one, but this is going to be a rifle and the UMP picked up for Prosto to try and use. Kenzo coming in from behind, drops out the first. That stops the bomb plant going down as well, which buys time for the rotates to come on in. And this is where things get tricky here for Vega. They find themselves 2v4. They're going to be up against the relatively well-armed force on the side of Prosto. And that bomb plant isn't even going to be coming in just yet. Instead, Mir going to be going aggressive to first try and deal with Kenzo. It does take the duel and is going to fall down. Now it all falls under JR, who gets the bomb plant, but that should be it as he falls to Crush. Somehow, Prosto go ahead and get one straight back. They keep four players alive. And that's going to do wonders for their economy and their situation in this matchup.
Vega are just dreadful in the beginning of these games. I don't know how they manage to do it. Like, they always seem to just be throwing away the early advantage that they gain and always on some sort of fight back. They don't like setting themselves up to win. And, well, interesting the fact that it seems that most of the players are saving. Mir's decided to just almost fully buy. So going into the next round, he'll be quite limited. 2 AKs saved as well with the Galil on to Prosto for their start. So if anything, they've ended up with a better buy than they probably would have bought themselves. So very good position going into round number 3. Of course, Deagles have been known to catch them out throughout this game. Mir, well, his armor doesn't help him in that situation, although Flaric getting tagged very low. He's looking like he's trying to sneak himself in, but it will not work. Flaric is going to close him out as well with JR continuing the push outside. But Flaric is doing everything on his own. It doesn't matter that he was tagged low. Always one. That's what we say about Chopper. Who's it going to be? Kenzo.
There we go. There's the guaranteed 1D to come out from Chopper. Actually trying to take a little bit more. Does find some damage. Now on a crush, but then the flank comes in, they go aggressive. They don't want to let him. Yeah. I mean, normally it's at least one, but yeah, no, there is a guaranteed 1 dig in there. And, you know, to have someone in your team, like, you know, we make it a joke, but to have someone in your team who could do that, that must be... I don't know why they don't just stick him on the dig, have him get his one and done, and then they're like, you know what? That was worth it.
Leave him an AK in the spawn, like in some of the rounds. It's just like, just run around with the deagle, go get your one, and then come back and get a rifle. And then you can play it as if you're just a newborn player. Either way, we are going to see the force. As I said, Mir goes down to a Tech 9. It's not the worst case scenario. Interesting to see him actually playing outside, but he's going to move quickly. Try and get aggressive with some of these players. Goes sliding down, spots out Flarich. Looking to try get further into position. And the thing is with this Tech 9, if he gets traded out, it really isn't that much of a loss at all. But he can just take so much map control for his team, pushing players back, not allowing these aggressive positions that we've already seen from Flarich so far. He's all the way back in hell. And it's just really well played by him to sort of take this control. It's now what the T's will actually do with it. That's a different thing altogether. Smike still up in heaven. Outside control is pretty much fully in the hands of this T side, and Smike now tagged down very, very low. The jump probably would have killed him if he wasn't careful, and Mir, he is now going to capitalize with that Tech 9. Looking to retrieve that rifle, but Crush is aware of his opponent's position and finds the trade.
Yeah, they've got control of hell. Gonna be looking to try and make their way up in towards heaven. But you're going to be spied on out from Smike within the site, and actually is going to play up on the rafters to try and deal with it, but no. Finally, actually, Kenta does come in, gets himself too, turns the situation entirely on his head. Chopper able to trade things back. Bomb dropped off on the rafters, though. Going to make this difficult as that Chopper is to go ahead and lap on around. Crush making his way on up from behind, sneaking in through Mini. Bomb is going to be retrieved. Chopper on 3. It's going to be removed, and now Crush just fades away. Looks to try and hide, but no, JR close by is able to trade that one out, and that is Vega to go ahead and win out that rifle buy. There is still money for Prosto to go ahead and to invest up in towards this one. Smike can get the AWP as well, so gonna have a fairly decent buy, all things considered. Actually, when you look at it, it's Vega who are going to look to be struggling a little bit into this one. I think we've seen Chopper drop one of the rifles over Kashano. I don't think he's got anything. I think he's having to invest in the UMP. So a fairly even buy, actually, across both teams. If anything, I'd say Prosto still have the better buy out of the two. And well, it smokes down towards outside, allowing Vega to go ahead and get across. But there's a gap in the smoke, and you better believe that Smike is going to exploit that. Flarich still holding outside. We've seen him be a force of nature in this position. I'm just curious to see if that gap that they've left is going to benefit Prosto. A good bit of Smike just locking it down. Smoke's going to actually dissipate, so they don't bother using them. They try and sell the fake that they crossed in a secret, but because of that gap, Prosto are more than aware that that did not happen.
Mike actually going to be able to find the first from above as well. Switches up his position, something he does all of the time. Like, to see him peek from the same spot twice is somewhat uncommon for this AWPer. We're going out to speak. It's already been quite a long day. Rotation out from the T side. Gonna go back into the lobby. Potentially gonna look to hit towards this A site. Kenza up close. The UMP being utilized in a position that definitely benefits him. He's also got support from Def. Quick rotation available into heaven as well, but there goes the push. Kenza starts doubles with Def to find another couple, and with 25 seconds left, JR looking with everything to do, and he doesn't connect the shots. 4 players stay alive. The T's, with their force buy, unable to get anything done, and now they're going to be left with nothing.
I mean, Kashana and Hichi on Vegas still yet to even kill anyone. That's never a good sign. They do need to try and pick things up a little bit. I mean, when we saw them play up against Prosto on this last time, you remember they had a very good T side, in spite of it being nuke. And this time, I mean, not to say they're off to a bad start necessarily, but they have just been put onto the force. They're going to be charging out towards A, trying to go for something risky, and they do manage to definitely do that. Kashana going to get on through in towards B, but Flarich, quick on the rotate, will shut him down. Bomb going to be dropped over there towards B. well in control of Flaric in that B site. Smoke goes down and hold the players off from ramp, but they're just going to go pushing on through. The pop flash does come out, and Chopper going to be holding the angle. Will be dropped out by Smike, who rotates in with the AWP. Crush looking now to try and help out, as Smike's actually in danger of being pushed from Mir. He was going to completely bypass both Crush and Smike, and Smike actually now going to spot him out over in CT. Does find the frag, leaving this all on JR. Once again in a 1v5. Tag down low, player up above him going to do that much more damage. He tries following up on the ladder, but doesn't want to take that duel, just being whittled away. And then it will fall. Froster, they go ahead and find themselves another round.
Important as well, considering that the T side actually invest most of their money into that one, and well, we can see just how many players they've been keeping alive throughout the rounds where they've actually had money. In fact, so far, every round they've won, they've had 4 or more players staying alive, and this is already a much better start than what we saw previously. It has to be said that both this map and Cash, we've seen them start on a different side to when they previously played, and it's looking like they're so much more confident already on the CT side. It was the T where they just weren't really able to get too much done, or of Smite going to be able to catch them outside. They do not have the range to challenge him, and he's just going to, well, take them all down. JR. Oh no, not again. I'm sure we've seen this exact position before. And I'm even sure it was Smike who may have even got knifed. JR able to correct the aim punch to get that kill. And makes things a lot more costly. But more importantly, that knife kill is enough to get him an AWP.
And there we go. We got Hoochie, our Spectre scoreline, James Bond, Special Agent Hoochie 007. As still yet to frag for Vega. Arguably having a slowdown at probably the worst point in time for Vega right now on a nuke. Of course, the winner of this will be heading on through, as we said, to the PGL Major qualifiers, which is a very big deal. So, prize money, not really the thing that teams are competing for here. Anyway, Vegas going to be sending their guys towards outside, rushing on up, but Flaric playing the close angle, actually going to get punished this time. All the smokes are down outside to allow them to cross in that shroud, and they're already just soaring in towards B. This time there's no Flaric to put a stop to this either. The remaining players isolated out on this B bomb site. The only player within earshot is going to be Crush, who has made his way on in. Spots out 2, but now finds himself stuck between a rock and a hard place, and is going to go down as a result. The bomb going to be getting planted. Smike making his way in through ramp to try and open things up. I mean, Def and Kento are still yet to even rotate down, as it looks like the save has been called. Don't want to risk throwing these weapons away. So it will be a third for Vega. First kill for Hoochie as well, as he gets himself one on the board. And while Def dropping players as they try to leave, looking to try and make things costly, doesn't want to give them an easy way out. It will be a third, as we said, for Vega. It's just how expensive can they make it for Prosto, or how costly can Prosto make it for them as they look to try and hold on to these rifles in a big way, dropping out 2 players now. And Vega don't want to go pushing into the onslaught anymore, so they just opt to stay back and hide.
Yeah, right decision from both teams there. The CT's not really going to come back from that. I think they gave Smike the opportunity. That's why we saw them lurk around a little bit via the vents, because if Smike gets a kill or 2 quickly, then it's worth it. It's worth going and trying to take that round away from Vega. But he can't find anything. No point going for that challenge. Don't throw away weapons when it's unnecessary. You can make sure that your buy is the best it can be, have all the utility that you need. And considering how convincing a lot of these rounds have been, I don't blame them at all. Smike, he goes a little bit risky in that scenario, running across trying to get to secret, but because of it, he's set up very early in the round. Def already getting that first kill. Flaric holding as they do look to sort of push around that outside. Now this time there's no Smike to stop them, so quite a bit of map control gained. It seems like, at least in this round, a much more passive hold coming out from the CT side. Not willing to take those fights on the outside position of the map. The problem with that is it leaves Crush in quite a vulnerable situation where he has to keep just peeking between 2 different angles. It could leave ramp a little bit more vulnerable, but at least for now, it's actually going to be that outside control tested, but Hootie's going to make quite a bit of noise, and because of that, Ken's going to expect it.
Yeah, now Mia could be one of these difference makers. He's been able to work his way through into the backline and does find the first down and crush. Kushana, in the meantime, going to be dropped with the bomb, and that down out in the open, Flaric causing some real problems. Actually mops up both those frags at the end, and that's going to be Prosto to pick themselves up a 6th, go and return one straight back and reset the economy of Vega. In comparison to yesterday, of course, having a whale of a time here on their CT side, doing some phenomenal stuff. It will be the force buy coming in from Vega, which, I don't know, I mean, they've been very liberal with these force buys, and I think it's gotten to the point now where this could very well impede them more than it's going to help. I mean, if they do manage to win it out, then that's great, but they've lost with far more is the issue I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think this is a really silly match. I don't agree with it at all, but they are a team that can just pull rounds out of nothing, just individually able to step up. So it's possible. It's just so much more of a risk than is needed, and will mean they have nothing back into the next round if they don't manage to succeed. And while Def already starting things off, it will be a quick trade, and actually they've got it for a 2-for-2 at the moment. An AUG picked up for Kashandra's probably not the weapon he gambled on getting, and because of it he'll actually go down. Chopper, JR. They've got a bomb plant, so that will help them in the next round, but they need to do more. Chopper is going to go pushing around the outside. The problem is, if JR now falls, it could be very difficult to actually hold on to this round, but instead, he's actually going to get a kill. Now we hear Chopper coming in from behind. I wonder if Flaric will have any idea he's going to come from above. The defusal begins to come in, and while Chopper doesn't expect anybody watching the flank, so he will fall. The force buy fails. The question is, are they going to do it again?
I mean, you know, they can't afford to force it. Okay, didn't expect it was going to be this much of a force in.
Oh,
Vega.
I somewhat did.
Yeah, I know, but that's just because it is Vega Squad. I mean, this is what they do. They just go for forces, and the thing is, usually that works out, so it's fine. Normally, you sit there looking at it and you go, "How have they won this?" When they force sport Tech 9s in around where and then it's. But the issue is right now it hasn't been working. And, you know, I mean, it's similar crimes to what we used to see. We're going back a while here, even if you remember back in the day, the old kind of E-Frag lineup, which, you know, not saying is anywhere near the same sort of caliber. But anyway, look, already aggression out towards A. No time to dispute old lineups and how this is similar. We are going to be seeing Kenza and Smite between them, finding a mixture of frags, and this round just gets shredded for Vega. Kashana does find one, but then Kenza is there to trade things back, gets the triple, and now the reset comes in for Vega. Finally having to just put up with their economic, you know, downfalls. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, that's at the same time, it's something that me and you spoke about before. The one that really springs to mind was that old E-Frag lineup, though. They were a team that you used to love to force buy in rounds where they had no business force buy. Yeah, exactly.
I legitimately hated it.
And Vega, though, I mean, it looks like they're kind of falling into similar pitfalls now.
Yeah, they've sort of gambled quite a few times. I think it's because they know that they don't need too many rounds, and if they can sort of get a 2-for-1, that would be enough to sort of drag them through. The problem being now is that they've sort of set things up, and Cassandra just bunny hopping in with the bomb, that was just silly. Like, they're making some, like, fatal errors now. The bomb's actually not in the line of sight of Smike, but I think he knows that it's just around that corner. And in this round, we're not even really seeing any damage done. Maybe JR can do something with the Deagle. But he's spotting angles that they've previously been playing, hoping to find someone. But they know where the bomb is. They're not going to give him the time of day. The flawless round in such that they don't even take a point of damage, I don't think, until Kenza drops down at the end. 9-3. Buy will be in once again, but it seems to be, well, what should be a sort of buy, fail, like that sort of scenario where they don't have anything in the next round, but they have been force buying, so it hasn't been like that. The money now starting to build up quite effectively for this CT side as 11,000 sits on Smike. He's only died 3 times so far in this game. Kens are up there, 15 and 6, but there isn't really anybody behind at the moment for this CT side. They are rushing outside. Only just spots out Flaric, and Flaric, so confident, takes the peak. Molotov actually going to be quite poor though.
Yeah, push coming in towards that side. As you said, Flaric has gone down, didn't get anything done, and now the push coming in over towards B. Def going to be the one to try and hold this back, holding the close angle. Has Smike to rotate in from ramp if he needs it. And Vega, well, they've slowed right down. With 1 minute and 10 seconds left, they've realized this is not essential for them to take. The smoke's going to be holding them up and buying time. Def going to be the one holding this angle. Now going to be throwing out the flash to try and hold these players back. It does, however, give away that Def is going to be waiting in the wings. Rotate now coming in from Smike as the smoke goes down and hold him back. They're going to go pushing out towards Def, but Smike could come in from behind to try and catch these players off guard. Def manages to get one. Smike does exactly that, but Chopper reads it beautifully and shuts him down. And now Kenza and Crush rotating on in from A. In this 2 versus 3, the bomb planting will be coming on in for Vega. Crush in the vents. Sim and Kenza make their way into the site. They double down and drop out Hutchie, and now it's going to be Chopper and Kashanda. 2 versus 2 in this retake. Pop flash out for Crush to try and make his way up towards control. He has to clear the close angle as Chopper now emerges, leaving this on Kenza, and Kashanda will have no issue shutting him down at 4-9 as Vega Squadron do go ahead and pick themselves up another round.
Of course, one saving grace for the CT side is they've got so much money to play with. Now, it is still possible for a 9-6 to come in. It won't really come off of the back of this round. Like, a lot of the time when you see a couple of rounds in a row, the T's then have the chance to reset, but because of these sort of force buys that allowed CT side to build up money, that won't be the case. There'll be a buy in the next round no matter what. But it does mean a little bit of momentum, better buys. They may be able to get something going. Now look at this again. Smike got this quick push in. Expecting somebody to be there, but not this close. And he will be able to find the shot. Gets the first down. Nade will bounce in and do some extra damage, but Crush in the meantime has been freed up to find another kill across the other side of the map. In the meantime, Smike with a 2-man advantage falls back, doesn't overface in this scenario. And actually, the T's in the meantime are looking to take control themselves. The problem is, with a 2-man disadvantage, they really need to be finding some frags, and well, already they're going to get another player tagged very, very low. JR on just 4 HP. Mir looking to be the one to change things, but again, they missed that jump. And because of it, it's almost certain that Kenza's going to know there's people here.
Yeah, they happen to get control of Heaven. Still are more than aware of this, and JR's tagged that within a couple of inches of death. Smike peeking out through. Secret go to clear outside on his lonesome as now the push comes in out towards A. Shadow does get one, but the trade's going on, and Shadow has to step up in a big way, and he does go ahead and get himself 2, but he's been tagged down very low. Def able to get one more. JR on 4 HP. Finds one. Smike spots him out on the site. If only they had a nade, they could drop him out, but no. 1 versus 2. 4 HP in a dream here for JR, who keeps dancing with death as he peeks on it up against the orc of Smike coming on in. Crush going to go down, but Smike does trade things out. The defuse going to come in for Prosto as they only keep 1 player alive. The buy can come in next round. Should be no problem. But Vega, not so much a similar story. They will be reset. The bomb plant going to help a little bit in terms of what they can afford to buy, but it should only be 2 or 3 rifles maximum in play.
Very, very close. I was sort of having some flashbacks of some 1 HP clutches we've seen so far. And a little bit scared for Prosto there that they were going to throw this away. But 10-4, looking like they should be taking an 11-4, but you never write off Vega in these situations. They've just shown it time and time again how good they are. Smike is already down to Mir. He's one of the culprits of just players who can step up in these rounds. Already finding 2, Chopper with another one. And a 10-5 seeming inevitable now as Crush even, and Flarich. The combination called Crutch trying to clutch this out, but there goes Flarich, picks up 2. At least makes things interesting. Crush. Smoked out. He has a kit. Has some utility to play with. Multiple forward, but the Molotov going to hold him out for just that little bit longer. And with 3 players left to find, he is praying for a miracle. Hoping the Nate can do something, but instead he finds Cassandra. So little time left to play with. Has to just try and smoke onto the bomb. JR, he knows his position, but Mir still surviving. 3 kills for him in this round. Again, he steps up when needed. 10-5 half. But it's still possible for Vega to pull things back. I think we saw them go 11-4 on their CT side the last time these 2 teams played.
I know, man. I think that's a pretty decent half there from Prosto. I mean, admittedly, Vega going to be moving into the CT side now, which is the easier of the two. The pistol round will be worth its weight in gold to both of these teams. Vega, it can give them an ins to close that gap very, very quickly and bring it back to an 8-10 scoreline. Prosto, it would mean a potential 13-5, which would put them leaps and bounds ahead. And the pistol round being one of the more wild card rounds, having such a big impact, could go either way. Just going to be armor across the board here for Vega, not reckoning they need that defuse kit. Does mean if the bomb goes down, they're going to be under that much more pressure. And already 2 players outside. Crush going to be on this trusty Dig. We've seen him do some fantastic stuff with this in the past. Smike spots out JR over towards ramp. He's just going to be tagged away at. Already Mir to open things up. Crush goes down towards outside over a ramp. The duel going to be going down as the players 5 shots left and right. Def allowed to cross into secret. Does indeed give them the possibility of splitting him up through vents, but instead he's just going to wait, bide his time. First try and contend with Mir outside, and the rest of the team now looking to try and push out in towards A. They first have to clear hut as there is a player currently residing up on top, and they spy him out. Kashana in the corner to find one. They still haven't had to deal with the player on the site as Uchi rains death from above. Kenza alone here inside A. Uchi holds him back, and Mir finds Def outside, leaving it all on Kenza. 1v3. Uchi up on the rafters, executes him, and that is Vega to pick up the pistol as now they look primed and ready to close this gap.
Let's see if Vega can finally convert one of these pistol rounds. They won the last one, the T side, but instantly got set back. Got a couple of Tech 9s, a lot of P250s, 5 smokes in fact, so I wouldn't be surprised to see an outside take from these Ts. Looking like they are going to be throwing some smokes over in that direction, which should guarantee them some presence over towards secret. Molotov's looking to try and deny them. Claret will be the first one out. Chandra still looking in this sort of outside position, but not really able to see anything at the moment. JR scoping across, but the smoke wall hasn't left any sort of gap. There's no way he's finding anything through that. Still Crush, waiting around the door. Now, his aim is to try and get down those vents. He can be just a burden for this CT side. Cassandra already waiting down the bottom, however. So they have switched up for this play. The wall of smoke's giving them quite a lot of information. But look how far around the backlines they've got. But look how many CTs already hit. Uchi just waiting down the bottom. And that's actually going to be the bomb dropped already. So much damage being done. Cassandra looking to finish things off. And Crush, the Lurk player, will be shut down as well as Vega. They convert. Something I haven't really had to say throughout this tournament. They've been terrible in these second rounds. But this time they do. And they'll get that kickstart over on their CT side.
Yeah, I mean, an 8 to 10 pretty much guaranteed here before Presto do get that bar on the board, unless they somehow miraculously pull this one off with the Glocks and PT50s they do have. UMP is going to be the main force behind Vega as they look to try and make some easy money here. JR outside with this scout. We've seen him do some fantastic stuff with it up against fully bought players, up against the unarmored opponents of Presto. It should be an easy challenge. The rest of the team stacked up outside of A, ready to move in. Smike going to be the first man to go down. This one is just a bit of a throwaway round to try and get a feel for how Vega are playing this map on their CT side. Letting the clock tick down, trying to dry out the patience of Vega, wait for any sort of aggression to come on out. Doesn't look to be the case. Trying to also make them waste as much utility as they can, because rebuying it can prove to be expensive even if they don't find many frags. And now, Squeaky going to get opened up. Kenzo on the other side, just waiting. Kashana didn't peek on out, so they don't know he's there. But it looks like instead they're going to turn their attention over here towards ramp. There is a player in the form of Huchi, who has the crossfire set up with Mir in hell. And, well, damage being done, spread thinly across the board as Mir gets 3. Looking for the 4th. He's tagged down very low, switches out to the USP and finishes off Flag. That will be the 8th for Vega. And now the buy can come in from Prosto.
T side finally able to get themselves into a position where they can challenge. Now, they're only 2 rounds in front. And that sounds weird to say, but they're on the much tougher side of this map. We've seen that they only managed 4 rounds previously, which won't be enough. They have looked 10 times better today. It has to be said. They've looked incredible. They could have even taken this series in 2. I'm hoping that won't be back to bite them. JR will. He's rotated, playing a different position every single round, and he'll catch out Smike, one of the pinnacle players this T side. As of yet, they're yet to really find anything. Being tagged a little bit through the push that's come in. Through the smoke as well. Hootie's going to do even more onto death. Down to just 35 HP. They've still got plenty of time to play with. Looking like they're struggling to find any sort of opening as of now. The CTs have fallen right back into passive positions. Still have Mir outside, who could be either someone that they can pick or a little bit of a pain. They're actually going to throw late smokes outside, but this time there is a bit of a gap. That's going to be a big problem. It's not really anything to do with their strategy, however, as the rest of the team look to just head their way down ramp.
Yep, JR able to find the first. That's bomb dropped out in the open. It's going to be still yet to be picked on up, and actually they neglect to do so, and Def going for that trade could throw this one away even further as JR currently on 3. It does all fall onto Crush in the 1v5. So little time left. JR just going to go ahead and shut him down as the pause will be called in. 9 to 10, the tactical pause from Prosto. But I mean, at this point, what can they change? What do they have to do differently? I mean, they haven't really found anything that works out for them yet, and they've tried a couple of different approaches in these rounds.
I think picking up the pace could definitely be a way to do it. Like, a lot of the time we see teams explode out onto the A site, or even just try and catch them outside by just wrapping around. That was something that seemed to be effective for Vega Squadron, just able to push all the way around, try and get into hell and catch the player over on ramp, because ramp has just pretty much been shut down. Outside has been left fairly open. They're just not really exploiting it. I think it's only Mir playing out that round at least, but the early presence in previous rounds from JR, I think, makes them a little bit wary to go in that sort of direction. This time, 5 smokes again. I like the fact that they have some reliance on utility and willing to try and take control of positions due to it. The likelihood is they're going to play outside again, as we don't see any incendiaries in their hands, which makes takes over onto the A site itself very, very difficult. Now, is there any gaps in this smoke? That's the real question. A little bit, but not anything that can be exploited by the CT side. Again, it's going to be Crush waiting in from behind, so he's basically just the luck player as they attempt to get the bomb down on B. Problem is, I feel like the second anything happens in this sort of position, rotations come in. Just look at the position of Hootie right now. He's not gonna peek until the bomb makes a sound. And the second it does, he's gonna try and deny it. Oh, never mind. Got itchy feet. Lines up one. Gotta try and back away, and actually he's gonna fall. Could give a good opportunity for the bomb plant, and maybe more. As now we see the T side get a double kill. Go for the plant. Not gonna be any denial as of yet. Mir goes pushing. The AWP above on JR will be there to help, but actually Mir may not need it. He's gonna take 2. Only left is Smike, but all in all, that round was a success.
Yeah, I mean, they get the bomb down, they find 2 frags between them. Pretty much everything that they could possibly ask for. The defuse does come in, and that's going to be the 10-10 scoreline secured for Vega. The equalizer has been found. The buy going to be coming in from Prosto does not feature an AWP. Spike instead electing to go for the buy onto the AK. This does mean that in the next round, even if they lose this, they should be good to buy on the back of the loss bonus. It's going to be the case that they've got everything they need into this round. JR going to be on the AWP for Vega. It's been a couple of slow rounds out from Prosto. Would like to maybe see something a little bit faster attempted. Bait out the utility early on and then try pushing it towards one of the sites, because we keep seeing them trickle on out into a site one by one and then just get picked off with very little in the way of returns. And that's something you do notice being kind of the difference between these two teams almost on this T side, is that Vega are a lot more aggressive. Well, the smoke goes down early on. All the utility being used by Vega to force Prosto out of this A-bomb site, just completely disallow the option for them to even make their way in. And you can see that Prosto are going to turn their attention now instead towards outside, throwing down this wall of smokes. We've seen them do time and time again.
Really achieved much with it, though. That's the big thing. They've been able to get down into secret, but really hasn't helped them too much. I want to see some sort of change, and Mir is just happy to play in this sort of passive role. They haven't smoked him off whatsoever. The rest of the team feel like they're going to set up for an A hit, though. And with 40 seconds left, I think this was all just a bit of a bait.
Yeah, they are going to go charging on out towards a chopper, able to find one. Him and Mir just putting in work in the blink of an eye. All falls onto Flaric, who claims one life. Still got 3 more left to find. Mir outside through the smoke, doing damage. The Nade going to find the bulk of it, and then Hoochie there to finish things off. Vega, they take the lead for the first time on this map. Now 1 round to their advantage. The buy can come in from Prosto once again, but after this, they're going to have very little money to invest into the next. If they lose this one, and then we see them having to eco or force up into the next round, that would very easily allow Vega to reach a 13-10 scoreline.
And this is starting to look reminiscent of their T side. The first time we saw them play this map, 6 rounds in a row. As said, never really get to see Vega winning these sort of pistol and follow-ups, and because of it, now that they've got such a bolster to their CT side. They haven't lost since. Now, in terms of their setup, it just seems to be catching these players early, but it's going to be a ramp hit, leg shot straight away, but it will be a trade. JR still destroying his opponents at the moment. Currently sat second on the board. He's got help from Chopper as well, who will catch out Smike as he tries to find something towards that A site. And well, now Flaric. He's been playing this outside spot, basically waiting to see if anybody will try and push it. I don't think they've tried it once. It seems quite redundant, the fact that he's just used over towards these back lines. Maybe just gathering up as a team and going for a more basic style of play without this lurk roll. Could be something to work for them. Crush with the bomb. Not in a good position at all. Try and get down towards B, and that's what Flaric is going to be doing on the other side of the map. They'll look to team up together. However, we already have Cassandra down in the back lines waiting for if he tries to push in this direction. Rest of the team still going to be further up, however. So a lot of it will rely on what he can do.
So little time at this point. They have to try and get that bomb down now. Flaric clearing out the angles. The rotate already coming in from Vega as they pour onto the side, but the bomb plant is going to come in. Crush finished off by Chopper. The pause called in from Prosto as they do take another tactical. Still yet to find anything on their T side as Vega now go 12-10 up. Another round where they managed to keep 4 players alive. I mean, we haven't actually ever seen them lose more than 3 on this CT side. So their money's looking fantastic. You've got Mir, who is on $15,000. JR up on 10 grand. And from the side of Prosto, they've got money to invest into this round, but it's a similar scenario. If they lose it, they will be put back onto an eco in the next.
Yeah, fact is, this one would have been that eco if they didn't get the bomb down. That's the one good thing they have about this sort of lost streak, is the fact that a bomb plant pretty much secures them a bye. Trying to come up with some sort of different way that they can get into the site. That's the one thing, though, about this map. The biggest thing, always the biggest thing, is it's so easy to get bogged down when you're on that T side. Sometimes all it takes is one strategy to work, and once it's exploited, it becomes a lot easier. I think we saw previously Vega doing this when they were found an exploitation over towards ramp, and that was the big way that they managed to open up the round a little bit. No, it might have actually been Prosto versus them. where that was one of the only couple of rounds that they got, was right near the end of that half, was just pushing over towards ramp. This time, though, it seems like they have a much more secure setup with JR on a rotational position every single time, just catching them out. As you said, no AWP. Not going to have the money. I think that's a dynamic they may have to employ sooner rather than later, as they aren't able to find any picks early into these rounds. Smoke's being set up. This time, looking like they're going to be over towards that A site. They're just going to look to split through.
Yeah, collapsing outside. First of all, JR going to be able to shut out Crush and Smite as he does go in for the refrag. JR locking this down. Finally going to be traded out by Kenzor. The aggression from Hoochie, got to be something to keep an eye on as he wraps all the way around already aggressively in from ramp. They do get control of Heaven and Hell. They're just going to play up on the rafters in the form of Kashana to try and deal with it, but no, Flaric does find him. It's a 3-on-3 secured now for Prosto as they look to try and pick up their first rifle round. Probably the best odds we've seen them with in quite some time. The A site going to be heavily stacked for Vega, and that looks like where Prosto want to try and make their hit into. Mir able to find the first as Kenzo will go down. Now Flaric walking into his demise, going to be the next to fall in the blink of an eye. It's all on Death, who does come in swinging, gets himself the first. Hoochie hot on his heels though. There with the refrag, 13-10. It was looking so good. That was the closest round we've seen them get. But it was just that 50-50 decision between B or A, and the decision to go A, the more stacked site of the two, was their downfall.
Yeah, that's the first time we've actually seen them try and wrap around as well. They go into those sort of back lines of the CT spawn, and JR, I think his start also helps them massively at the beginning. He finds a double kill, which just deflates them a little bit. They do attempt to get back in, but you just see that effective 2-for-1 trade is ultimately what makes the difference towards the end of this. And now we are actually just seeing constant buys come in for this T side. They've done a little bit of damage, but not really anything substantial over to the economy of the CT side. Mir now going to be playing that outside role, but once again, we're going to see that secret take Crush. No surprise, is the man waiting behind. He's only got a UMP, so he'll be playing a little bit further back once more. It's almost seemingly identical at this point. But this time, Crush actually wins the duel.
Yeah, Hoochie going to be there to return though. His victory is short-lived. Flaric going to be the one to go down. Kenzo trades things out instantly. The bomb plant going to be coming in, and once again, Prosto in a great spot to try and make this their first rifle round. This time with bomb planted in a 4-on-3, better than the previous. Gradual improvements being seen. Mir going to be going down. JR and Chopper 2v4 to try and retake this site. The bomb timer ticking away, and I think the decision's been made for these guys just to fade away. Look to try and save. Chopper will fall, and JR, yep, he's going to be looking to try and hold onto the AWP. Doesn't want to give it over to the hands of Prosto, who won't have an AWP of their own if they don't find him. Buy can still come in next round, no problem. Going to be made so much cheaper if they do manage to hold on to the AWP as well, which they will. Prosto going to be able to find themselves in 11th though. And the issue I'm seeing is this is the road to reset if they don't pick up this next round. Well, they're saying that from keeping 4 players alive, they should be all good to buy up in the next anyway.
It'll be a bit of a sketchy buy, but they should have a little bit of extra money. Def actually going to avoid head armor in this situation, which is an interesting decision. Make sure he gets all the utility that he needs, so understandable in that aspect. CT side, as you said, looking to break them straight back and then continue their streak probably onto the end of the game. It's a big round process to try and win. Hopefully it can be something to work off the back of. We'll see if there's any sort of adaptation out from the CT side. We've seen them in the past go very aggressive, but it was a different sort of scenario. It seems like the pressure being on has not only stepped up the performance from Prosto, but if anything, calmed down a lot of the aggression we saw from Vega. They had a round where they just all ran up ramp through the hut as well. Instead, we've seen them play very passively, and in fact, JR, he's going to switch his position up again. Now, you have to remember, so many rounds we've seen these smokes. This is the counter. This is the direct counter to what we've seen in all the other rounds, and he's not going to hit the shot. He's going to go for the repeat. Leg shot available. There is going to be players just homing in on his position. Molotov will go down to slow them. But the thing is, this could be the play, even though he doesn't get any kills, that just stumps the T's.
Yeah, I mean, even when you look at how it's affected them, they've had to rotate back now to try to come up with something new. And it looks like it's going to be a ramp here, but JR, he's already repositioned. He's going to be here if they decide to go in as well. Wherever they go, JR is. Crush and Smite turn their attention instead out towards A as the AWP shot rallies on past and try to change their crosshair out towards the A site. But Kashana and Hitchi just going to shut them down. And as you said, the play from JR was perfect. Time and time again, which is the spanner in the works that stopped them from progressing forward. And then mopped up by the rest of his team. So it will be a 14-11 scoreline. Vega 1 round away from match and series point. And no money left into this round really for Prosto to invest. With Crush could get a rifle. Smite could as well. We could see Kenzel pick up a Galil, but it wouldn't leave them with much. The only issue is playing for OT does seem risky when you've only got 1 round on your T side.
That's pretty much the perfect example of showing how getting 0 kills can actually win you a round. He was just shepherding the T sides into that A site, which has been pretty much instant death any time that we've seen Prosto actually go there. I don't think they've won a single round. Well, I know they haven't because the bomb went down on B on the 1 round that they've won. So it is just deadly for them to go anywhere near it. And you just see the rotations from JR force them to go that way. They didn't want to challenge that AWP, and because of it, it left them going into that deadly crossfire. It was so smart from him, and wonderful stuff from the guys on A to have such a solid hold, but it took JR to push them in that direction to actually get that round. This time, though, he's not in position, so guess where they're going again?
Sneaking in around Secret. This time, Flaric actually going to drop out. JR gets revenge for the previous round. Similar to if the sheep kick the sheepdog, and Mir going to be able to trade things back to a 4-4 now as enemies converging on his position, but Smite going to help out more than ever. Drops Def, turns this all around as Kashana now finds 2. It's all on Smite, who has to try and follow this road to redemption and show that despite the TK, he can get this 1v3. He's got the bomb. Rotating back up, he's not going to check it, and Uchi goes in with a peek, will shut him down. Vega Squadron, they arrive at map, match, and series point. It will be a 15-11 scoreline. No money left for Prosto into this round, and this could be Vega to go ahead and make it through to the major qualifier.
Last pause used. Prosto, even if they get this to overtime, continuing in the last few, they won't be able to use a pause. CT side, looking set. Has to be said. 1 round got, 4 rounds needed. The likelihood is slim. Haven't really seen too much at the moment from this T side. Prosto needing to dig deep if they want to survive in this tournament, because there's still the grand final to be played. It was expected that Vega Squadron would be in it, but with the way that Prosto have played throughout this series, they have been incredible. They have been absolutely incredible. And I'm hoping they can pull it off one more time. We've seen OT in the first map, 16-14 in the second. Now they're trying to fight for overtime once again.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to try their luck over here towards ramp in a final act of desperation and try and keep themselves in this 4-player stacking up. Kashanda able to find the first round. Kibuchi mopping them up. JR's rotated round. Everyone going down. It all falls onto Smike. 1v4, and JR finishes it off with a 3K. 16-11. Vega, they win out this series 2-1, and perhaps most importantly, they will be making it through to the major qualifier. As well as that, there's still going to be the grand final coming up later in, well, actually, hopefully in about, I don't know, Tom, hopefully in about 15-20 minutes, as we look to see Vega go blow for blow versus Tengri, the rematch to decide who gets their shot. Yeah, at that $30,000 reward for first place, as well as both of these two. Yeah, I couldn't think. A prize money was the word I was looking for, but then Tom, you know, you've ruined my outro.
Pat on the back.
Wow, good job, guys. Fantastic. But yeah, good stuff all around. Stick around, and we'll be back with the grand final after a short break.